Come hang with Dick and Brett, we're here to get those whistles wet.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Beers and Bourbon with Dick and Brett. I'm fucking Dick.
And I'm Brett!
Fuck yeah, let's go. Welcome back everyone. I think this is episode 10. I always lose track. Another solid lineup as always. We got Stellum, Serpent, Cask Strength Rye, El Cerrito picked by one of my daughters. She came out here in the middle of the planning and was like, let me pick one. So we got that. And then we got Art is Hard back, double dry hop version. So we said we weren't going to do North Park, but we can't get away from North Park. So North Park back in the house.
Yeah, so we've done Art is Hard, the standard version on one of our previous episodes. So if you're interested in kind of where that went in comparison to how this one will be, that's great. Just go ahead and check out that episode. Otherwise, pretty cool. This bourbon here, Stellum, was put out in a pick kind of thing, you know, a store pick. So certainly it was tried by some of your best tasters in town, and they came up with this one, and it was offered out to a premier group of bourbon buyers. So, and then may have made it to kind of your other additional marketplace after that. I'm not sure, because a lot of things that this store puts out there gets swooped up pretty quick, and a lot of times it might not even be available to kind of your regular person that purchased it if you're not part of the bourbon group, or if you're not part of the kind of their Facebook group that promotes a lot of their store picks and things of that sort. So we're excited to try it. Obviously, we've been getting further and further into ryes, and this one is no exception. Certainly we just want to see what kind of good ryes are out there. We're kind of new to that game, a little bit newer than the bourbon game itself, and that's pretty cool. So this is Stellum. I don't know a whole lot about the company, so really, I know that it's bottled in Indiana. It looks like it's somewhere in the same category as an American whiskey, and other than that, I mean, it's a rye, right?
117 proof, 58.84.
So there you go. So pretty, on the higher end of the proof scale, not super crazy, but certainly on the higher end of the proof scale. And then really excited about this double dry hopped Art is Hard, because like I was saying, we've done it before on the earlier episodes, and we like the beer. So with this case, now you're just putting a little bit of extra touch on it, a little special nudge, and we want to see how it comes out at double dry hop. So
yeah, we talked about the DDH, right? Someone gave us some feedback about being more educational. I think we did that in the first season. We kind of got away from it, but anytime you see DDH, that means double dry hop, meaning there's hops in the primary fermentation, and then they put it in a secondary and they add more hops, which it should be primarily aroma and flavor. Okay. Should add more of, typically it's citrus, doesn't matter what hops they're using. That's going to give you more of that pungent aroma, and it should impact the flavor. Follow up on one of the earlier podcasts that we had a couple of times ago. We're trying to figure out what that flavor profile of that Otter Romp was.
Oh yeah,
it was coconut and lime.
Coconut, lime, and there was like
lemon zest,
and you put the three together, and it had like this slightly curdling effect to it. It wasn't like curdles or like anything like yogurt or anything like that, but like it had like this like rippling texture to it, and with that came the flavors, and it was just really kind of cool. So we were really interested and curious to find out what those hops were and what those flavors were in that beer. So
yeah, we couldn't pinpoint it, and I was sitting the other night and I was like, I'm just gonna look it up, because the goal of this is not to read off a script and tell you what everyone thinks the flavor profile. We want to give you what we do. Otherwise, what's the point of the podcast, right? You can search the results, but was definitely interesting because I had no idea. We sat here and talked after, and we're like, man, that was so good, but so unexpected. So makes sense. Now the correlation makes sense, but wanted to give you that follow-up, especially those who are loyally following. They're like, hey, I wonder what that was. I haven't tried it. Why was it so different? So
it's funny because it sparked my curiosity, and that's a good thing about a beer, right? It did the same thing for him. He had to look it up. We had kind of had to figure out what was going on with it. It also sparked my curiosity in the fact that when I was out on the town a couple of days ago and just sitting around with a couple of people that were drinking beer, and I was so like still carrying this tasting with me that I was like, hey, have you ever tried Otter Romp? You know, with a couple people that kind of know the beer scene a little bit, and they were like, no, I never heard of it. And I just was like, oh, you gotta try this one, like, because it's so different, like, you know. And I was actually promoting it just in like in a friend group circle, like kind of situation with some outsiders and stuff. But it was really interesting that how much of an effect it had, because not a lot of beers will do that to you, where it's like it's kind of outside of the box, but you know, still within your wheelhouse.
it's cool when something changes it up because we drink a lot of the same flavor profiles. I'm gonna step out for a second. So Brett was so gracious enough that he bought me a birthday present. It took us, 5 months to get here, but I want to show you.
Probably longer.
I want to show you Sheridan Buckle. We don't have any affiliation to them, but check this out. I mean, I don't think it gets much better than that. Beers and Bourbon with Dick and Brett, the OG logo, a little bit of like copper pewter, little like kind of floral notes with some fake diamonds, and then look at the back. Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking
So if you see me out on the town with some shit kickers on, romping this belt buckle, you know it's Dick from Dick and Brett. And I appreciate you, brother. It was worth the wait. I figured I'd show that.
Yeah.
I got all excited. He was like, hey, are you home, man? Can I come over? And I'm like, whoa. He wants
Just fuck, I waited forever for this thing, you know what I mean? Because like when we first started making merch for the company, in the podcast, you know, we were like, we got to get some shit for ourselves, right? And so I got fucking Dick made me this hat, right? And I said, I want a one of one. I want something that nobody else wears, but it's just very similar to what everyone else is gonna get. You know what I mean? And he just graciously said, sure, that's it. That's the one. You can have that one. I won't make that one for anyone else.
Nope, signed on the catalog.
And so we're not gonna put it out there. You know, I mean, it can go bad, and I can get another one and replace it once the finger marks get too crazy. But it's a one-on-one, and so, you know, this guy deserves one too. And I was thinking to myself, what's more one of one than anything out there? And I was like, a classic cowboy belt buckle. Like nobody's ever getting that.
Fire.
It takes 7 months to arrive.
Dude,
like I was like,
literally
come on,
someone
bro.
was
you know?
pressing the cast
Yeah.
for the metal. That
Yeah.
thing is badass. So
This lady direct texts me, and she's like, hey, I just want to make sure that this is what you want, and like sends me like all these specs and photos and shit, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I want, you know, but I want to make sure that it's not like painted or like there's a sticker on it or anything. Like I want it engraved, you know, to match everything. And they're like, yeah, that's exactly what's gonna happen. And I'm like, cool, you know, that sounds great. And so then she's like, don't worry, it'll be shipped out in the next 6 months. And I go, what the fuck? I said, hold up, what? And then I just had to wait, you know, wait.
Dude, it was worth the wait though.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Hey, so you're gonna see that out on the town. I don't have any cowboy boots, but now I gotta get some. I gotta rep it official. So, in the store and merch, right? We shared a lot of love out there. If we missed you, you know, I think there's been some local. I think my mom grabbed some for one of her friends. We had a repurchase out there from Gajani. We got some love. But we're looking for. I love Gajani, man. So we're looking for some more out there. You know, we got a first initial rush of orders. I got time on my hands. Let's get them going. The catalog's out there. Summer's coming, spring's coming. We're gonna cater to the ladies. You're gonna see some tote bags. You're gonna see some tanks, V-neck tanks, right? We got our wives rocking the V-neck tanks. We just did racer bags, so it's coming. So that's our plug for merch. It's out there. Order availability. We're ready. Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go.
Let's get into the bourbon, man.
All right, so we're gonna get into this Stellum here and see where it takes us. So if you want to check out Stellum, go to stellum.com. STLUM. STELLUM.com, and check out what they got going on over there. In the meantime, let's give you a review of their nice rye. I got the squeaky chair again.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Ooh, okay. So, first bourbon of the day. So one of the things that I think we've fallen in love with rye, with everything from nicotine pouches to beer bongs, whatever. The goal is to get that initial, not necessarily buzz, but like gratification that when you drink something, it's full flavor, right?
Yeah.
We already know, we've had Artist Hard, the double dry hop, we already know the flavor profile. It's gonna be a punch, an immediate flavor. And that's what I get from this. The nose, standard rye, the flavor profile was like a bomb.
Yeah, it's rich in its spice, and it's aromatic. It's flavorful. Packs a good punch. It's got a nice good good proofing to it. I think that if you higher proof this one, it might be too intense for your average kind of sip. You know, you might have to drop of water in it, like put a drop of water or something like that. But I think they proofed it pretty good on this one.
I get a little bit of like vanilla and a little bit of creamy on there. I'm gonna try the second flavor because one thing to note, this is our opinion, but this is a neck pour, first crack, fresh crack. First drink is obviously gonna kind of, not to put our theme song in there, but wet your whistle a little bit, right? And then the second drink I think is the most true. The third is like, you're hoping it continues.
Yeah.
I even get like a little, almost like I would say a Scotch peatiness off the first flavor. Like a little twang.
I think that's the kind of maybe what the different. Okay, here we go. Hold on.
Jeez.
I'm not even gonna try it again.
Differentiator
is that maybe because of this, they're classifying this as an American whiskey rather than a bourbon, that you're seeing that American whiskey / Irish whiskey kind of touch to it, where it's not necessarily a Scotch peatiness, but there's some kind of peatiness.
Are you picking that up though?
It's slight.
It's very
slight,
faint,
yeah.
but it's off the first drink. When it hits my tongue, I taste like a little bit. It reminds me of a Scotch.
But it still has, like you were saying, kind of this softer side to it, right? Which is like where you're saying creamy or vanilla or whatever, but it has like this soft touch.
Yeah. Finish is nice.
The finish is burning down here right now.
Really?
For me, on the second one. The first one didn't even hit me.
I mean, I get a tingling warmness, but it's not crazy.
Mine just started, like it just out of nowhere. I just took the drink like 5-10 seconds ago, but all of a sudden it's probably what I ate.
But here, this is the
truth,
for everyone out there, this is the cool thing, right? This is not, and I'm not saying other podcasts and other people are scripted, but like, this is the account. We've never had this. We've never had anything from them. Brett has a different profile than me, even though we drink a lot of the same bourbons. It does depend on your hydration. It depends on the food content for the day. If you have acid reflux, all the indicators of your health for the day are going to determine the flavor profile and how your body accepts it. So that's what's cool is like, I'm still getting a lingering, but he's getting kind of like this like pit burniness. Like it's a completely different flavor profile.
Yeah, it's probably because I work out less and I'm fat and I'm gonna get diabetes and I'm gonna die. And you're
probably
all healthy.
This is not a negative
He was
podcast.
showing me his rocks earlier on his arms, his big old rocks. He's like, I worked out, I did legs and shit.
Dude, okay, hold on. Let's tell the truth. So we had a new gym open up. I've lost some weight in the last year, and I was like, I want to start lifting again light. First week went hard. Couldn't lift my arms. Like literally was like getting out of bed like this, sleeping in bed, having muscle spasms. Last night, me and the wife did some squats, 5 sets, nothing big. Legs were jiggly this morning.
Yeah.
And then I did light arms, but I feel a tingle. But you know what? We're gonna be jacked by summer. You're gonna see us out in the channel, and you're gonna be like, damn, those dudes are a lot better looking. They must have a filter on.
I don't know. I'm probably about halfway there. I still gotta get my ass up and walk every once in a while just to get the weight off, and then maybe I'll think about the gym. But I guarantee you one thing: if I do ever join a gym, which I hope I never have to, and maybe I can just be disciplined enough to go in my garage and get it done. But if I do, there's gonna be a fucking sauna there, bro. And I'm really jealous that you have a
hit
sauna
that
at your
sauna.
gym, because that's my jam. if I could just hit a sauna every day, once a day, for 30 minutes, I'd be the happiest man on earth.
They say, okay, so I don't think that Joe Rogan is a medical professional, but multiple people, he swears by the cold plunge and then the sauna in his house, but multiple people have said a sauna is the best thing to release toxins, reset your kind of like internal clock. I feel like after a workout, 10 minutes at whatever it is, 130, 140 in there, after that, I feel like you start getting a little woozy depending on how much you've eaten and stuff. But I feel great. I feel great.
I all the way up until where like I'm taking my last breath in there and I can't physically handle it anymore and I might actually fall asleep. That's how long I like to sit in the sauna. And then I get out and I'm just drenched.
Oh, yeah.
And this cool breeze hits me and I feel like that is the most amazing feeling of the whole.
It feels like snowboarding when you take your jacket off.
Yeah, oh,
and it's like
yeah,
35
dude. Bro, that's
degrees.
exactly what
Right?
it feels like.
You take your shit off,
Yeah.
you take your jacket off,
There's
and you're
steam
outside
coming
and
off
you're
your
steaming.
neck
Like, you take
and
your
shit.
beanie off, your head's steaming,
Yeah.
but it's freezing
Yeah,
outside.
yeah.
It's like hot and cold. I would say, you know what? I think this, so the bourbon, so El Cerrito Bourbon Club, I was a part of probably 2022, 2023. So it's probably 2 or 3 years old. I like it. I think this would be a good campfire bourbon. I think it's a good on a cold day. Again, we don't, we're not obviously affiliated with any of these bourbon companies and we have our local shops that we love, but if someone was like, hey, I'm getting into Rise, I would recommend it. I think it's a good proof. Bottle probably was $75-$80 back then. Now probably $100 because there's probably a little bit more following behind it, but
It's possible it could still have the same range because I mean bourbon has gone down in price
That's
a little
true.
bit over the last thing and some of these other bourbon companies that are startups, they struggle because they don't have the big name, they don't have the big draw, they don't have the thing, and you have to let your bourbon speak for itself. And this one does a really good job, you know what I mean? I'd drink this on the strip in Vegas,
I drink it everywhere.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not like something I would shy away from and to be like, you know what, guys,
Yeah.
stay away, go get a different bottle. I'd rather have this.
Yeah.
I would throw this in the mix, and I would be happy sharing it with friends and standing behind it and saying, you know what, it's a good bourbon, man.
Yeah. Well, I know me and Brett are aligned in like, I've met a lot of people. We talked about my daughter's playing travel, and I told you about all the parents and all the stuff that Brett's been involved with for the last couple of years that I'm just entering. And now you're trying to make friends and find the people that you want to hang around with, and a lot of them are like, oh, I'm a bourbon drinker, and I'm like, they're asking me about bottles and they're talking about it, and I'm like, look, I truly believe 75 to 150 is gonna get you a fire top shelf, like low end Taylor small batch,
Yeah.
69, 75, some places 90, and then like Weller 12, Taylor single barrel, like even the Michter's now is like 199. Like there's a lot of fire bourbon in that pocket of 75 to 150 to 200. You don't need to go buy a Pappy, which we know is fire, but if you're just starting out, you don't need to go break the bank. Oh gosh, can we talk about the fresh cut? Let me just stop what I was saying.
Let's go.
So, Brett is on the pilgrimage to fucking fire.
I
right
don't
now.
even know what's going on.
Like
I've
for
lost
real,
myself completely.
Like no, you found yourself.
Okay,
You don't-
maybe.
no, he found himself.
Yeah.
He found his inner business / potentially from Oklahoma white trash self.
Thank you.
Like
Thank you.
like
Okay.
it's not business in the front, party in the back because he's always party, but it's like I'm at work and people aren't judging me, yet when I come home, I feather out and I got the swans going.
You gotta have them wave the waves. I am having a little trouble with one side. One side's doing like this amazing like wavy
flip.
thing, and the other one's like curling in. So
You gotta
if
train.
anybody has any tips on how to get the other side to go out,
You're gonna have to slip a curlers on.
I might, dude.
Dude,
or-
Chetty would be proud of
or
you,
I
bro.
gotta get a perm or something. I don't fucking
calls
know
them
what
the
to do,
feathers,
dude.
bro.
I need better feathers
You
then,
need
okay?
feathers.
You know what I mean?
I'm proud of him, man. I keep saying that. You guys think I'm an idiot, but this dude right here is the epitome of dedication. I mean, I'm telling you, I rocked the mustache for like 3 months and I felt like a boss because I was like, I'm doing it before November and I'm doing it after. And then I was like, fuck this mustache. I look like a cop. And I'm not a cop.
I have no idea how I've held on this long, but I'm actually starting to like identify with it. For a long time, I felt like
There's no DEI, bro. You can't use the word identify anymore.
well, I kind of felt like for a while that I was like living a double life. Like I was acting like somebody that I'm not, but then I realized that
That's you.
it is me, and
It
I should
isn't.
just rock this shit all the fucking time.
Hey,
You know what I mean?
that's a public service announcement out there. Don't ever be afraid of who you are,
Yeah.
right? We already told this story. There's a whole episode on the story. I didn't want to meet this freaking guy. I didn't want to like him. And now we have a business and a podcast together. We're family. Like, his daughter's here right now playing with my daughters. Like, we're family. Like, this is the point, the epitome of don't judge a book by its cover. Don't go into a situation negative, because I'm sure he thought the same thing. He talked about it. Fuck, dude, I got enough friends that I don't want to have. Like,
Right.
like, let's not. And then look, we fell in love. So,
All right, so check this out. If there's anything different, this is a 7% beer, right? So this is the double dry hop version of Art is Hard. I know I said that already. It says Art is Hard all over the damn
no
thing.
change to the ABV, just extra hops for flavor. And
Yeah,
aroma.
so it's an India Pale Ale. It's got Citra, Matuka, Mateca. Jesus, thanks for correcting me.
There you go.
And Simcoe, right? So all hops that we love. We'll leave that out there so you guys can see it in the front. And we want to smell this thing, obviously, see how that hop might change the nose on what we had previously.
It smells glorious, dude.
So
Let's talk about the
well,
color too.
yeah, the color is amazing, but I want to go over the smell. I want you to give me a descriptive idea of what you smell when you get into it. I want to see if it matches what I'm smelling. So
Okay, now he's gonna put me on the spot. I get a little candy like
Okay.
a weird sweet smell. I get a faint citrus. You said citra. That's gonna be citra hops are like an orange peel and a lemon. Simcoe is usually more of, they say, like a candy like melon. I get that. I get the subtleties of the fruit. The Motica is, I don't know if it's a New Zealand or Australian hop. It's one of them, and it's more of like a galaxy, like a subtle bitterness. So I get a candy melon, like citrus flavor. That's what
Okay.
I smell.
all right.
What do you smell?
Well, it's changed since I took my first one. So I think straight out of the can, I was getting like this kind of like it's weird, but I had like this soft like left out banana peel flavor,
Okay.
which was kind of weird. It was kind of like, you know, this what I would consider like that swamp water smell, which is
Okay.
like kind of off-putting at first. But
Okay.
then now that you started talking about this and I revisited it, all that's gone. So there's no like that musky kinda-
Everyone hates hazies, the dishwater.
yeah.
The
So that
spoils.
it wasn't soapy. It was more like it was pleasant, but it was like a weird.
Like a faint, like,
But now, yeah, I just get, like you said, I'm getting the kind of the citra hop smell and
yeah. It smells
some other
inviting.
small things in there. Yeah, it's better. It's
Let's
better
go
than
for
it
it.
was when I first started it.
Oh man. So right off the bat, I get the double dry hop. Like, I get, what's crazy is this feels like, and you could be completely different. I feel like it's coating my tongue and it's gonna want to be bitter. It's telling me like it's thick, it's gonna be bitter, and I'm like, and then all of a sudden it just dissipates and it's soft and pillowy.
Okay. I got like a diluted fresh orange,
Like orange peel.
like yeah, like
Tart.
like what do they call that when they do the shaving of it?
When they shave the skin off.
Yeah.
Like when they do it for the bitter on the.
Yeah, when they hit
That's
the
an orange
outside.
peel, but I don't know what like the technical term is.
Zesting.
Orange
So it's
zest.
like an orange zest, but like if someone was to add like some water
Hit the
to
nose
it,
again.
right?
Now that you've tried to hit the nose again. I get way more citrus.
Yeah, no, the citrus is there for sure.
But it's more pungent now that I've tasted it.
It's crisper than and a little bit lighter and thinner than I would expect.
I agree.
When you said pillowy, I was challenging that a little bit because I didn't get that, but I was just, like I said, everybody's different.
Yeah, well,
and
it's
so,
not it's not a me versus you.
No,
but,
no, I know that.
But what I was saying was I got a rush initial on the first drink that I thought it was going to be resiny and like hoppy.
Mm-hmm.
And then those hops quickly changed to like that juicy kind of like what we talked about, where it's like very inviting, very soft on the end. Like I don't get any bitterness. I get a lingering
No,
flavor.
it takes you to where it wants to say I'm about to be bitter, but then doesn't do it to you.
Like right now.
Good. Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
And then it's gone.
Yeah.
And then I get what you're talking about with the orange zest, where it's like orange zest is hard to describe because it's, when I say like tart, it's not like sour, but it's faint. It's not like bright, vibrant citrus where you taste an orange, you're like, oh, it kind of hurts my teeth a little bit. It's like that softer, like truer orange flavor, almost like a orange Starburst flavor, where it's
you get like that lighter side of it.
It's still orange, but it's not like bam.
It's there. It's like it's the difference between taking a little shaving of lemon. I use lemon because that's way more familiar to a lot of people, right? You squeeze a lemon on fish.
Yeah.
You squeeze a lemon on fish and chips. You squeeze a lemon maybe on tacos sometimes, right? And then you take that carne asada or that deep fried batter or whatever it is, and it just like elevates it to the nines because there's so much extra flavor, and it takes away from some of the things that you don't like about fish or you don't like about asada, where you kind of get that kind of like cow flavor, or that maybe that maybe this meat isn't the best quality meat, but you make it so that you can make big batches, or you do fish, and sometimes that'll take some of that fishy flavor out of it, right? But when you zest something, it's just a soft, inviting kind of, just gives you a hint, right? A hint of that.
It's a watered down of that flavor.
So I think it's kind of like a touch up to the Citra hops.
Yeah. It's fire though.
It's a good beer, man. It's crisp, it's light, it plays a lot in the tongue and mouthfeel area, where like it gives you a lot of flavor and kind of like does a little prickly, where it's just enough to where it's like, but then as it travels down and mellows out, it's not like, it doesn't make you kind of go, it's super filling or whatnot.
I mean, I think it's the epitome of a double dry hop hazy. It's a single, right? So 7%, which if you're drinking Coors Light, Bud Light, or Coors Bank, whatever, that's 3-4%. So like this is almost 2 of those. But for the beers that we're drinking, like this is not sessionable, but I can slam a couple of these and be like, I'm cool, I'm good to go. What I appreciate about North Park, which we're gonna come back to other beers all the time. They're like in our area, they're like the top of the top when it comes to the hazy, triple, quint, all that shit.
Oh yeah.
It's like
shit. I forgot even that they were on that line.
Right, and so the thing that I think about with them is like, I want people that are gonna perfect the craft. They're like, hey, this is our lane. They still make lagers, they make all kinds of bomb shit, but like when it comes to the haze game, they've looked at it from every angle. Yeah. They've added in weird stuff. They've got their quintessential double, triple dry hops, single, double, triple dry hop, triple IPA. Like, you talked about me and peeling the onion and stuff. Like, they've dissected that onion into little dices and said, like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And they're playing to all these different hops. So, Motika, like I said, I wish I had a little script in front of me and tell you where it is. I know it's New Zealand or Australia, so it's out of the United States. Citra is for sure here. Simcoe is here. Citra is always going to bring that citrus vibe, a little bit of bitterness. Simcoe is that like candy, apricot, melon, and it's more on the bitter profile. I think like the alpha acidity, which is what determines how bitter a hop is going to be, it's on the higher end. So like
it's more like on the blood orange side of things.
That's where we're getting that it's going to be really resiny and hoppy, and then it flips.
Yeah.
That's where that candy like comes from, that like sweetness flavor. And candy like is a hard thing to describe because it's not like candy you're eating.
No.
It's just like crisp and like a little sweet. But super balanced beer. Obviously, I'd love to crush a 4-pack like all day, every day.
Yeah.
So,
I think we all would vote to crush a 4-pack at any moment in time.
yeah. I would agree.
Hopefully it's a good one that you're crushing because they're $28, $29 these days. So if we can get the price
Down.
of a 4-pack from some of these brewers down from $28 to maybe
19, 18,
15,
13,
right? Yeah, so just let's take $13.99 off, and then we'll buy a lot more of your beer and we'll enjoy it a lot more. I love beer, okay? I love bourbon, and I love doing this, and so you know what? We're gonna continue to try them whether they're 28 or 36, but that doesn't mean we're gonna continue to buy them over and over again. So do better on the pricing, and we'll make these beers more sessionable for everybody out there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for you, me, and the audience.
All of the above, man. So, what's next, Brett?
I'll tell you what's next. Just if you guys ever get a chance, check us out on Spotify. Put a few episodes out there. Let us know if you're having trouble finding it. If you're not, great. If you're having trouble finding it, hit us up on our DM so we can help redirect you to our Spotify account. We'd like to get some of you guys to go out there and start putting some views on that. We certainly know that's the next era. We said it would happen. We've just barely cracked the surface, but we're putting some stuff out there on Spotify. On our docket is to get on some of the other platforms. We tried to use one, but we had an MP3, MP4 issue, which is basically video and audio, right? And you know, we're doing what we can to learn as much as we can. We're gonna have some better video quality for you coming up soon, hopefully, maybe even some more microphone quality. Once we get that played out, we're gonna tie in a few things, do some testing, and certainly going to start taking this podcast outside of this environment.
Go.
So you guys won't have to look at us every single time you watch something, sitting behind this desk looking at all this wonderful bourbon behind us that we typically drink on a regular. But we will out there sharing our experiences and stories with other people. And I think that's what it's all about is you sat through, you learned about some bourbon, you learned about some beer. Now let's go out in the real world and apply it to everything else.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be really exciting.
I agree. Collabs are coming. The cameras, it's necessity to get out there. Some better mics, some travel mics we can clip on. So we're slowly investing, right? This is like, you know, grassroots. We're investing everything, and it's coming along nicely. It's taking a little longer than we had planned, but greatness takes time. So
greatness takes time.
It takes time, right? So to Brett's point, you know, Spotify was the next adventure. We might be on Audible. We might be on Odyssey. We're checking out different platforms. We're trying to obviously get into where we don't have to invest a ton of money because we want to see what you guys like the best. But check it out, man. Tell us you don't like it. Tell us the quality is not good. Try it on this platform. Like, give us the feedback. That's what I think we're missing in this whole venture is like, we want to be interactive with you guys and we want to know what you want to see because what we think is cool might not be cool, but
I'll tell you what, you know what, I mean, we're looking down other avenues, chat things, right? So, you know, maybe like a Discord channel, if you guys are into that. I know Discord's kind of a big thing out there right now, right? I don't know if it's big for the bourbon community. I don't know if it's big for the beer community, but I know it's big for a lot of other communities, gaming, you know, all that kind of stuff. So maybe that's something we need to get involved with where we have easier, you know, chat access to us. I mean, not saying that we're going to be hovering over our phones 24/7 because this isn't a full-time job until we get a shit ton of subscribers and a ton of viewers and we're raging, you know, but at the end of the day, we're just going to keep fighting and that's what it's all about. So literally, we're going to do everything we possibly can for you guys, and hopefully we're bringing you some good content. Maybe we'll start bringing back a little bit more of the fun. Maybe we'll have some more drunk episodes.
Yeah.
You know.
Beer bongs.
But we've just been damn near serious for like the last 6 months on just hammering it out. Plus our schedules are actually even crazier than ever. So we're gonna do the best that we can. But I think when the good times start to roll, you guys will be there and you'll see what comes of it, which we're excited about.
Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go.
Dick and Brett,
we're out.
we're out.